bench this week. I have one from the Vic Hucklebuck collection. This is a 2013 Fender Jazzmaster modern player. It's got 21 frets. It's got 2 humbuckers. Real stripped down setup. You just got your volume and tone, switch selector. You don't have any of the other stuff that usually comes on a Jazzmaster. Cool little trem down here. Overall, a great guitar, and it was super cheap too. I'm talking like Squier prices, low-end Squier prices. So I wanted to figure out why this guitar was so inexpensive, and he also wants me to do a little mod on it while I'm in here. So we'll set you up and we'll get more into it. Sound check. Scratchiness in here. All right, works. Clean this switch out too when we get in there. What do I do first? I guess I'll take the strings off. I did note before when I was looking at this that the screws for intonation are going in this way. So always note that when you're changing strings which way they go. Real easy to put that on backwards, and then you're fighting intonation again. And I did look up a picture, close-up picture of this from the flyer that the Fender puts out, and they are indeed going this way. Alright, got my fret checker, my bob. Let's start checking for flatness here. I mentioned that this belonged to my friend Vic Hucklebuck, more like my brother. His name's not really Vic Hucklebuck, but I don't use anybody's real name on this channel. But I've been playing with him for 25 years. I've maybe known him about 30. And he's built a really good network of musicians. It started out just me and him learning how to play really as a duo, and learning how to record. We both kind of figured out the 4-track ourselves, but we moved on to the 8-track and then digital, and we kind of learned together. And we always worked well together because what I didn't know he knew, and vice versa. And yeah, so he started maybe 10-15 years ago getting different bands together on different nights of the week. And I think he's got 5 or 6 different bands or acts that he can go out with right now and play a show if he had to. I do the Friday nights with him. I'm in the Black Sabbath cover band, if I mentioned that before. We play back Black Sabbath, Ozzy era, basically the first 5 albums. So yeah, we learned together over the years, and this is one of his first new good guitars. We had a couple good guitars, but none of them were really new. We get really good guitars used, but this was the first one that I think he bought, brand new, still with the tags on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets with some issues. So we'll go through those and get out the tape. So So what I remember about this guitar was it sat at the music shop for a really long time. It sat there for a while, like months, with the tag still on it. And I want to say it was $200 or $300, maybe $350. And it just sat there. Nobody was buying it. And Vic Hucklebuck was looking for a Mustang, Fender Mustang. They were making those at the time. And I remember that time, 2013 or so, it was kind of a resurgence of the offsets. I think it's right about the time Nirvana was becoming an antique. People started getting into the offsets again. And so he was looking for a Mustang, and he had seen this a couple times and didn't see a Mustang, but he saw this, and so this is the one he got. And it was in black, which he likes to get the black guitars. So that kind of made sense. And you know, when I played it, I couldn't believe that, you know, there must have been something wrong with it. But there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it. The neck's super comfy, super fast. So it's a decent guitar. I mean, the only thing that's wrong with it, you know, is China. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Could be. This yellow tape, it's hard to see where you missed. It matches the fretboard perfectly. Alright, I think I got them all. But let's be real safe. I'll put some big tape here over the pickups. That way I don't get any filings in there. And because this is so close to where I'll be working, I'll get that too. That way nothing gets down inside. We got to clean it anyway, but be safe. Right after a quick crowning, I'm going to hit it with some sandpaper, light sandpaper, let's call it 600. And I'm not bearing into this fret, so I just want to get those tool marks out from the sanding before and the crowning. You can go down on frets really fast, so be careful. This was never done on this guitar, so this will probably not have to be done for years after this. You should just be doing string changes from here on out for a while. Move on to some 1000 grit sandpaper. Take out any tools left by the 600 grit sandpaper. Alright, that takes care of tool marks. I'm going to move on to some heavy steel wool and some light steel wool. This piece. So a couple videos ago I put out an appeal to try to get me to 666 subscribers, and you guys came through. Thank you so much for that. I'm onward to 1,000. That puts me into a new bracket with YouTube. Hopefully get my videos pushed out there a little more on the algorithm. I did a 3-part series on some guitars that fell off the wall, some wall hangers that came down. They were all mounted to one board, and that one board wasn't secured properly into the drywall, and the whole thing came down. Fortunately, there was only one bad spot on those, which was the Jackson Stealth that I replaced the trem on. The other 3 guitars that went down were perfectly fine, but there was the Kramer guitar that had the banana headstock that I really wanted to fix. I've been wanting to fix that for a long time, and I figured what better way to get it over here on the bench. So at filming time here, it's probably been about 3.5 weeks maybe since I had given it back to the Amazing Jay. And I can say it hasn't curled up again. It's still in the same position I gave it to him in. He did relax. One commenter put out a great suggestion, and I cannot believe I didn't think of it. Sometimes, like, the obvious is right in front of your face and you don't even see it. But more than one commenter had said, you know, once you get it locked down at the nut, it's tuned, so you can relax the tuners up there on the headstock. So he's been doing that, and we also took off that string tree that was on there. That was, you know, I think that's a lot of cause of the tension on these guitars. Besides the design itself, I think it dips down too extreme on that point at the end. I think if it had been up a little bit higher at a less of a severe angle like a Jackson, I think it would have been fine. But that's where we are with that. So I also want to thank you for getting me to that 666 subscribers. And I dropped that video a week ago today, and I think I'm at 18,000 views, which, I mean, in YouTube terms is small potatoes, but in 1 week, I only have 2 or 3 videos that are above 10,000 views, and it took 6 months to get there. So the fact that I got one to 18,000 views in 1 week, I'm really psyched about. That's pretty cool. I guess 18,000 people found that thumbnail interesting enough to click on it, and at least 150 have found me interesting enough to subscribe. So thank you for that once again. Alright, with those steel wooled, they're looking pretty sharp. You can stop right here if you want. I like to go the extra mile. And I'll polish them up here. The Dremel. Before I move on to cleaning it, I'm going to do this mod that he wanted real quick. Alright, don't shoot the messenger, but the mod he wanted to do on this was to put some pickup covers on it. They seem to fit. One of them's a little off. I drilled out the holes, so I don't think it's going to be that bad. But what I'm going to do is just going to put a dot of hot snot to keep them in place, or in case these need to come off if he doesn't like them or something. Let that heat up a little bit. Put one there. The other side. This is purely aesthetics. This isn't a shredder or a lead guitar. This is more rhythm. The bands he plays this in, it's more, I almost want to say like old school, you know, he's just picking some chords. Some jazzy chords the time, you know. So I think these will be just fine. And like I said, just a dot of hot snot here, and you should be able to come off when you need to take them off. Dot of hot snot. I think that'd be a great band name, huh? It's a little tougher because there's not as much slack on the pickup wire. Yep. That doesn't look too bad. Probably would have done something different for this one, but he likes the look, so we'll give it to him. Alright, I got some schmeg here. I'm going to do some cleanup, so I'm going to use the glass cleaner. If you have a finished maple neck like this, of course you don't have to oil it. You're not doing anything but making a wax, and cleaning stuff is the best for that. So like I said, this guitar came in at Squier prices at the music shop. And I just can't for the life of me figure it out. There was no dings, there was no dents, there was no scratches, there was nothing that would, you know, make it marked down. The only thing I could think of is maybe the music shop itself just, you know, had enough of seeing it sit out there and drop the price. But this is, again, this is one of the first really nice guitars, or, you know, that wasn't a Squier or something that came new into the jam room. And, yeah, it's a player. We have so many there now. You know, I mentioned the jam room all the time, and this is where the network of bands that Vic Hucklebuck has put together practice. You know, they each kind of get a night of the week. It's also good so when you do shows, you got multiple bands that can open and close, and plenty of hands to move equipment, right? That's the worst thing about playing out, is moving all that equipment. Just wanted to check that I got rid of that static before I tied all this up with strings, because if I have to get in there and change this, I got to take all the pickguard screws off. I think that's good. Alright, he requested 10, so we're going to do that. It's also what the manufacturer recommends is 1046. What I like to do is go just over about 2.5. I think I cut that first one kind of short, but about 2.5 past the monkey's ass. God, I hate these slotted top tuners. Whoever created them is a sadomasochist. Last thing I needed to do was lock down this trem. There's a little button here. When it's up, you can wah 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 back and forth. When it's locked, it's in the back position. And this basically keeps it from, if you break a string, it's not going to detune the rest of the strings. So there are a bunch of fine-tune adjustments on this with this screw here that sits behind it, but this one's all set up for it. So the way you lock it is you pull it forward, and then you can slide that back and forth. So I don't have a trem, so I just got a screwdriver in here, and you pull it forward, slide it back, it's locked. Should be in tune. Yep, still in tune. Nice. I'm out here at our annual Guitar Fest. Every summer we put on a show with all the bands in our musical network. And I'm going through all these guitars that I've been through, and they're all here. So here's Paul Reed Smith, power body. There's the Fender FA. There's the Japanese, what's that one? Les Paul. There's the waterlogged Squier. Boy, that's some feedback there. That's the Supernaut epoxy guitar. That one, there's the Oscar Schmidt, which I have yet to get open. What else do I got here that I fixed? Oh, I got these three open here too. Jackson, UC Rich, Les Paul. That's the Joe Vaughn. I don't think I've had that one yet, but we'll get that one soon. So I can't find anything wrong with this guitar. I have no idea why it sat at the music shop for so long. I mean, it could be because it's trying to, pardon me. Could be because it's got humbuckers, but I'm not really sure. Maybe people wanted single coils and this one didn't appeal to them. The neck's perfectly straight. The electronics are fine. Hardware's fine. I mean, it's Fender quality at Squier prices, so that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to get this back to him, and he's going to have a blast getting out there doing the jazz thing with his Jazzmaster. And I think he's just a jazz journeyman right now. He hasn't really become a Jazzmaster, or a jazz Padawan, possibly. But anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. Give me a thumbs up for filming it for you. We'll talk again soon.